Well, although the chamber could dismiss the charges, Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell has said the trial will go ahead. The Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, John Roberts, is sworn in as Chief Presiding Officer, and the senators will act as jurors. Now, House of Representative members could act as prosecutors. They and lawyers for the President will cross-examine the witnesses. At least two-thirds, or 67 senators, are needed to vote guilty on at least one article of impeachment to have Donald Trump removed from office. Now, if this happens, the Vice President would become President of the United States. Al Jazeera senior political analyst Marwan Bishara joins me now here in Doha. Marwan, we've walked through the process that will eventually happen, but it does seem an awfully long way off, especially since those articles of impeachment haven't even got to the Senate yet. What's going on?
Well, clearly, the Speaker of the House wants a bargaining chip with the Republican leadership of the Senate. And the only way she could do that is by withholding those articles of impeachment so that in her mind, there won't be a kangaroo trial in the Senate that will simply vindicate and declare President Trump innocent without any serious process. So they could just withhold it indefinitely until more information comes out and continue to claim that the president was impeached, or they get better deal from the Republican leadership in the Senate, and then they go to a trial that is more conducive to a trial rather than a political circus.
But, well, you said it there, political circus is arguably what this has turned into. It doesn't really appear to be about right and wrong and you know, evidence or the lack thereof. What is this really about? I mean, the population assumes that he's going to be exonerated by the Senate. So who essentially is going to decide the fate of the Trump presidency?
The electorate. Because, as you said, what is supposed to be a legal process, what the founding fathers of the United States pleaded with future generation, is that they treat this as a huge deal, and that they judge it on its merits, not on ideological grounds. Of course, has not been the case neither in the Clinton impeachment process nor apparently in the Trump impeachment process. So I think what you have now is a president that is very robust and boastful of his rejection of this kind of process. And this, in a way, Hala, is both a condemnation of the president, but also a vindication of the populist Donald Trump. Because what does Donald Trump really stand for in this context? He stands for that democracy is about he, the elected, and the people. Everything else in between is a distraction, whether it is the media, whether it is the courts, whether it's the political parties, even Congress, in as far as he's concerned, is a distraction. Because as a populist leader par excellence, he thinks the majority decided, and he is the president, and the only way he'll be removed from office is by the electorate. Everything else is unfair to him.
Now, the poll numbers on the impeachment process haven't really seemed to be moving one way or another. Trump's strategy has arguably been incredibly effective, and that characterises his president, does it not? He is a disruptor. He can buck the trends and the conventional wisdom. We're now seeing this come to the ultimate head, the impeachment process. Do you think that ultimately the US institutions, as they are able to withstand this force, this Trumpian populist force? What does the future herald, whichever way the impeachment trial goes?
Well, look, behind the smokescreen, if you will, there is an ongoing, quote-unquote, a civil war, a political, ideological civil war in America about the soul of America. Will America be a pluralistic, liberal democracy, or will it be a populist, nationalist democracy? And in the latter sense, nationalist would mean more like nativist, white, and so on and so forth. The earlier would mean more blacks, minorities, support for free speech, defense of the institutions that are supposed to be or have oversight over the democratic process. I think President Trump represents that nationalist, democratic, illiberal America, while more the Democrats, Congress, and the courts represent something more liberal and pluralistic. And I think here in the next 10 months or so, Americans will have to decide, do they only vote by their pockets and whether there is some economic progress or better income tax and so on and so forth, or whether they will vote by their conscience, meaning do they want a liberal democratic America or a nationalist illiberal America?
OK, Marwan Bishara, Al Jazeera's senior political analyst, thank you very much for your thoughts.